Hello friends, welcome back to BlockTribe. In this video, we'll be learning about revert functions in Solidity. So in the last video, we checked about require functions. The only difference is we can check conditions based on which we can send out custom error messages for the same. Why do we require revert functions? Revert functions are just similar to require functions. We need it for input validation, we need it for access control. And what is the advantages of revert? Revert basically is similar to require. It refunds the gas used. It brings the state variables to its previous state. And what is the syntax for revert? In require, it was basically require the condition and the second param was the message. Similarly, in revert, it is if condition where you mention the condition, and in the inside the if you say a revert and the message which you want to revert when gives out a false message. So this is it. Let me take you to the code. So let's continue with the example which we had taken for the require functions yesterday. Now let's go ahead and copy this code, and I will show you basically how we can convert this code to use revert rather than using require. So let's see this. Now what do we want is basically we want to fulfill these same conditions, but we want to do with revert rather than using require because their functionality is just similar. Now let's go ahead and convert this this condition first. If you say if, and yep, okay, so now it will be the report and the message you want to give. So this is how we can convert the condition, but now we let's do one more thing. Let's take address public and owner, where you pass it as message dot sender. Okay, now what we are trying to do over here is basically we are trying to convert, basically we are taking an variable where we are putting message dot sender who deploys the contract, and we'll check whether the owner is equals to what we are sending, whoever is calling the function is the owner or no. So this way now what the condition would be, we would say owner not equal to message dot sender, and if owner is not equals to the message dot sender, what it would say not the owner. So let's go ahead and deploy this thing, and okay, so what we have done is we have okay, now when we call, we know that the owner is this address which is pointed by C4. Now what we do is just switch this address, copy it from here and paste it, and we just say BlockTribe is best because we know that already. Now let's take this and paste it over here, and when you hit it, right, you get this a revert back saying not the owner. So this is just similar to what we had achieved in require. Now also this is for the access control. Now if you want, I can also convert this situation, which is input validation, and what it would do is basically you just take this, so yeah, that's it. Now what we need to do, okay, one more thing which we need to do is we need to say it as not equals to this thing. Now what we do is basically you just go ahead and okay, now you take this C4 as the address and deploy this. Okay, let's, so now what I will do is I will say BlockTribe is okay. I don't want to say BlockTribe is best. So let's go ahead. Now this you get a notification back saying rest are okay. It means you are getting a revert saying rest are okay, because you said block tribe is okay, but block tribe is best. So it said rest are okay. So this is how you use revert and require for the same conditions. You can fulfill the same conditions with the revert as well as with require. Only add-on which revert brings back is you can send custom messages back, which are really helpful in certain cases where you want to put additional information in the hands of a person or anyone who is trying to misuse your function. So let's go ahead and see how we can convert, how we can use revert in instead of require. So let's understand how we can use custom errors in revert. So I think so we have already understood how access control and input validations can be done. So let's remove this for now, this condition for now, and let's only work with this condition. And let's go ahead and try to create our custom exception. Creating a custom exception is just similar format as we create an event. So you write error, and error you say my custom exception, and you name it as a function, and yeah, that's it. So this is how you create custom exceptions. Now, but how different it is and how can you use this, now I'll tell you. So as of now, what we were doing was we were doing a revert, and in that we were passing this message. Now how we can pass additional information into this is basically you say revert and you call this function of yours, and yep, that's it. Now if I try to deploy this, right, so what happens, okay, let me give you an example of how we can deploy. So when we deploy this, just take in what do we do is, okay, we give this, no, not this, yep. Now if we pass this and we say vc one something else, and if we do this, so we now you see, right, we have got this error as a revert, and what it says is this my custom exception has thrown. Now this is empty as of now. There is no exception coming, and though there is no error message coming from our end. Now what do we do is basically we can pass this, we can pass anything over here. We can just say not the owner and not the owner, and we just copy the okay. So how do you pass this custom message? You just say a string over here. What does this do is basically it says, it tells that you would be passing a your custom exception, which would bring a string format error message. Now that would basically now let's go ahead and deploy. I'll show you. So let me show you. Now when you do this, right, okay, I did a mistake over here. Let me go ahead and deploy, and then let me copy the second thing. Now when we do this, so now if you see, right, when I redeployed the code, now it says value, it says parameter 0 and the value as not the owner. So this way we can pass our custom exceptions over here. Also to be more specific, we can also pass something like this. We can say address, and what do we do over here is just come here and pass the message dot sender. Now how this revert is basically helpful. So let's go ahead and deploy. And now what happens basically, so when you are trying to deploy this, right, 1 2 3, and when you run this, so you get something like this. Now what all outputs you get is, you get first the exception is not the owner, and the second one you say it says is this is the particular function which is trying to get access to your function, and he is not the owner. So this way you have more security. You know which basic address is trying to bug your code. So this is how you can also use revert rather than using require. Now when we have seen how revert works, so there are certain advantages of revert against require. So in require, when we send this long messages of text over here, so it says basically it consumes a lot of gas, whereas in revert it won't. Basically revert is gas efficient, and it would allow you to send long messages over here without consuming a lot of gas. So this is how revert is useful in this. Also there is one more case where revert is useful. Basically suppose you have different kind of exceptions. Now different kind of exceptions, basically you have different kinds of exceptions for different kinds of conditions. So what you can do is you can create an if else, and in that if else you can basically write reverts inside that, and based on all the conditions of if else you can revert back based on the particular exception. So I'll give you an example over here. So if you say what I am trying to do over here is, now I'm trying to revert here by custom exceptions saying text is not good. Okay, so yeah, so this is how we can use else if, and in this case what we are trying to do is basically we are trying to use revert with custom exceptions, but the logic is basically we are trying to cover more exceptions and with basically different messages with same exception. So this is how you can also use revert, and it is more useful than require, because require covers only one condition. So this is the basic use case, and yeah, that's it on revert. So let's move on how we use assert. So let's move ahead and check how assert is used. So assert, and we would say if the owner is not equals to the message dot sender, then it would do an assert. So assert is basically it would directly give out a error message. It won't give any custom exceptions. And so let me give you a fair idea of what I'm trying to say. Now what we are doing over here is we would assert if owner is not equals to message dot sender, and we are just checking block tribe is best. So let's go ahead and deploy. Now when we try, let's take this address, and what is this basically? So the contract has been deployed by this basic address. Now we have used the C2, so the owner is different, and what we say is we say block tribe is best. We take this as input, and yep. So when we say this, right, okay, sorry, so we need to do this not equals to. So okay, now let's go ahead and deploy. Say this. Yep. So now you see there's a revert. The transaction has been bring back to the initial state, and okay, now if you see, right, so the string matches, it says this, and the error says fail to decode overflow, And yeah, so this is how the error would look like basically from the assert. So yeah, that's it for the video. We have learned about how to use require, how to use revert, how to use assert, and in what conditions we should use require, in what conditions we should use revert, and in what conditions we should use assert. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe for more. Thank you.